chosen one. Stop and listen. This moment is not random. Among the noise and distractions of the world, there is a pulse, an invisible current stirring inside your spirit. You feel it, don't you? That strange urgency, that weight, that doesn't make sense. Something is approaching, something divine. And heaven whispers that Wednesday will not be just another day. It will be the threshold, the crossing point between who you were and who you were meant to become. For days now, your heart has felt restless, as though time itself is tightening around you. That uneasiness is not anxiety, it's awakening. The spiritual realm is shifting. Heaven is aligning events, conversations, even delays, to position you exactly where you need to be. Every no, every silence, every closed door was not rejection, it was protection. Heaven has been guarding the timing of your unveiling. You have cried when no one saw you. You've questioned whether your prayers were heard, whether God was still near, but even in silence, He was sculpting you, like a seed buried in darkness. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being planted. And now, the soil is breaking open. Light is about to reach you. What you thought was an ending was only a beginning hidden in disguise. You may feel small, but in the spiritual dimension, your name carries weight. You are a signal that disturbs darkness. You are not wandering, you are being guided. Every hardship has been heaven's training ground. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. The waiting wasn't wasted, it was shaping your discernment. You have learned to hear the whisper of God in the middle of chaos. And that's why the storm couldn't destroy you. Now heaven speaks. Rise. The silence is over. Every time you fell, He was watching. Every time you got back up, heaven recorded it. You thought you were surviving, but you were actually being refined. Your spirit carries endurance that cannot be faked. It's the mark of the chosen. The Word of God declares in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 3, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever." That is your prophecy. Your light is about to be revealed. Wednesday is the moment heaven has circled on the calendar of eternity, a divine unveiling. The same light that once flickered inside you will now blaze for the world to see. What felt like defeat will become the foundation of victory. This is not just a message, this is a summoning. Those who hear this are not spectators, they are soldiers of light, being awakened for an appointed hour. The shaking you feel is heaven aligning the next chapter. What is about to unfold is not punishment, it is promotion. The world will finally understand why you were hidden for so long. Prepare yourself. Not outwardly, but inwardly. The wind of change is moving through your life. Quiet, unstoppable, divine. When it comes, don't resist it. Let it reveal what's been buried. Let it expose what cannot stay. Your pain was never wasted. Your weakness is not a disqualification. It's the very reason heaven can trust you. The cracks in your heart are where the light will pour through. This is your warning and your promise. If you align your spirit now, you will witness something no one can stop. The signs are already appearing through numbers, dreams, divine interruptions. Do not dismiss them anymore. Heaven is speaking in the language of confirmation. And when the day arrives, when Wednesday dawns, do not hesitate. Obedience will unlock what prayer alone could not. Every second of delay carries weight. You cannot wait for others to validate what heaven has already declared inside you. This is your assignment, your time, your divine unveiling. If this word resonates with your spirit, like this message as an act of agreement. Share it with someone who needs to awaken. Subscribe so you don't miss what heaven releases next. And in the comments, simply type 317, the prophetic number that seals your readiness for what's coming. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly where you're meant to be. At the exact moment heaven planned. The countdown has already begun. Prepare your heart. Chosen one, because what unfolds on Wednesday will shift everything, and when it happens, you'll know every delay, every tear, every lonely prayer was leading here. Heaven will confirm what your spirit already knew. You were never waiting in vain. Wednesday is not the end, it's the divine beginning you were born for. You start to feel it more intensely now, the stirring beneath your ribs. That trembling awareness that something invisible is setting itself in motion. It's not fear, though your body reacts like it might be. It's alignment. The unseen hand that has guided you quietly through storms is now pressing closer, tracing the outline of your next step. You may not see it yet, but heaven has already begun moving pieces on your behalf. Every moment of your life, even the smallest one, carries fingerprints from the divine. You didn't end up where you are by chance. Each heartbreak, each detour, each moment that forced you to start again, those were the brushstrokes of a masterful design. You were being sculpted, refined through the unseen pressure of divine intention. That is why you could never fit into the molds others tried to force upon you. You were always marked for something different, something sacred. When people misunderstood you, when they spoke against you, it was never really about you. It was about the mark you carried. Darkness can sense the light long before the light recognizes itself. You were a threat long before you were aware of your power. The rejection was not meant to destroy you. It was heaven's way of separating you from what couldn't go where you're going. Sometimes, God hides his chosen ones in plain sight. He lets them be overlooked, underestimated, and even forgotten, so that when the moment of revelation comes, no one can claim they made it happen. You've walked through seasons of silence, because heaven wanted you to learn to hear his voice without noise. Every quiet day has been a classroom. Every unanswered prayer, a divine rehearsal for what's next. You can feel the shift approaching, like a faint hum in your bones. The air feels heavier, time feels slower, and your spirit keeps whispering, "Something's coming." That's not imagination. That's discernment awakening. It's the sign that your season of hiding is coming to an end. You are not who you were a year ago. Even the pain that once made you want to give up has turned into something else. It has become wisdom. You've learned the rhythm of resilience. You know now that faith is not proven in comfort, it's forged in fire. You've walked through the heat and come out glowing. You carry within you the evidence of survival and the fragrance of purpose. Heaven is not finished writing your story. The delay was never denial. The pause was protection. You were not waiting for opportunity. Opportunity was waiting for you to mature into the person who could handle it. The tests you faced were not punishments. They were promotions disguised as pain. Every setback was God's way of saying, "Not yet." But soon, the hidden hand of God has always been your unseen ally. When you lost people, It was not abandonment, it was extraction. When plans collapsed, it was not failure, it was redirection. Heaven has a habit of using collapse as construction. What felt like endings were merely foundations being reset under your feet. You have carried a light others didn't understand. It made you different. And difference often looks like loneliness. But that isolation was never empty. It was incubation. The dreams, the visions, the strange timings, they were all part of the preparation. Heaven has been whispering to you in symbols, in numbers, in sudden knowing. It's been calling you toward awareness, toward readiness. And now, as time edges closer to the appointed day, you start to understand that destiny doesn't arrive in chaos, it arrives in quiet certainty. The very stillness you once resented has become the atmosphere in which revelation breathes. You are finally steady enough to carry what's coming, as the Spirit revealed through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born. I set you apart. That is not poetry, it is record. You existed in the thoughts of heaven before you ever took your first breath. You were chosen long before you were aware of choice itself. Everything that has happened until now has been the unfolding of a script written before time began. The invisible hand that marked you is the same hand that will reveal you. You don't need to fight for recognition. Heaven itself will announce you when the hour strikes. For now, stand still in the awareness that you are seen, known, and purposed. Every breath you take is part of a divine rhythm leading you closer to your unveiling. The signs have been subtle, but they are growing stronger dreams, alignments, unexpected peace. These are the whispers of a God who never stopped speaking. The same power that called light out of darkness is calling your destiny out of delay. You are not waiting for your moment. Your moment is waiting for you to believe it's already begun. There comes a moment when silence begins to speak louder than words. You have been walking through that kind of silence, the kind that feels heavy but holy. It's as if heaven has been holding its breath, waiting for your response. The stillness around you is not emptiness, it's invitation. The world may see nothing changing, but in the unseen realm, everything is rearranging. Your spirit has felt the tension of transition, the space between what was and what will be. It's uncomfortable because you're not meant to stay here long. This in-between is not a punishment. It's the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. You are walking on sacred ground, even when it looks like uncertainty. What you feel as pressure is heaven's way of forming something eternal inside you. You've been asking, when will it happen? And the answer is being whispered, not shouted, when you are ready to believe that it already has. The shift is not waiting for the world to change, it's waiting for you to change posture. Destiny doesn't always knock with thunder. Sometimes it arrives as a quiet knowing that refuses to leave your chest. Every moment of your life has been training your ear to hear that frequency. The dreams, the chills, the coincidences, none of them are random. They are the language of heaven, reminding you that you are still on track. Even when you thought you missed your moment, God was resetting the clock in your favor. Your calling has always been louder than your comfort. That's why restlessness keeps visiting you. It's not frustration, it's summons. You were never created for average. And every time you try to settle, heaven stirs the ground beneath you. The fire you feel is not punishment. It's the anointing pressing to the surface. You are not losing yourself. You are shedding, who you were never meant to remain. The heaviness, the fatigue, the strange sadness that lingers before breakthrough. It's your spirit expanding. You're stretching into the size of your destiny. That's why you can't fit into spaces that once felt safe. That's why familiar things now feel foreign. You've outgrown your old environment, and heaven won't let you shrink to fit it again. The process hurts because it's real. Transformation always does. But you are not breaking down. You are breaking open. The very things that tried to contain you are now the soil pushing you upward. Even disappointment has purpose. Even loss carries revelation. Nothing has been wasted, not a single season. We read in the sacred writings of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 23, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way." Every step you took, even the wrong ones, were written into your redemption. Nothing caught heaven off guard. You didn't ruin the plan, you revealed it. For every wrong turn, grace rerouted you. You are exactly where you're meant to be, right on schedule. So now, as your spirit begins to steady, a new command whispers, respond. The power isn't in understanding, it's in agreement. You've been listening, watching, discerning. Now, heaven waits for your answer. It doesn't have to be long, it just has to be real. Type these words below. I'm awake now. Then, because this is not just a comment, it's a declaration of awareness. It tells heaven, I recognize the moment. It tells darkness, you no longer control me. It tells your soul, the waiting is over. Those three words break the spiritual silence. They are the echo of surrender and the birth cry of destiny. When you write it, you're marking the transition between hearing and acting, between existing and becoming. Heaven has been whispering long enough. Now it moves in response to your acknowledgement. Once you declare it, watch how peace begins to settle, how the noise around you begins to lose power. Because you have chosen to awaken at the right time, the next chapter does not come by force, it comes by awareness. And awareness starts the moment you say it. And as you awaken, the atmosphere around you begins to recognize it. Old cycles lose their grip, closed doors start to tremble. Heaven doesn't wait on chance, it responds to awareness. And your awareness has just shifted everything in motion. This awakening isn't emotional hype, it's a spiritual recalibration. You're no longer reacting to life, you're responding to divine order. Your steps, your timing, even your breathing begin to align with heaven's rhythm. This is what purpose feels like. So, stand tall. The world may not notice yet, but the unseen realm does. Every whisper of faith is rewriting your tomorrow. You have crossed from confusion into clarity, from waiting into walking, from silence into song. You begin to notice how the ordinary days start to carry an unusual weight. The smallest things a delayed message, a sudden thought. A person crossing your path seemed charged with meaning. It's as though the atmosphere itself is alive, responding to an unseen command. Heaven has begun, interrupting your routine. You may not yet see the full picture, but you are walking inside a divine choreography where nothing is random and every step matters. This is how heaven moves, quietly, precisely, deliberately. It never rushes, yet it is never late. What looks like a delay is often God's way of protecting the timing of your promise. If the miracle came before you were ready, it would crush you instead of crown you. So, the interruptions you once resented are actually invitations, moments when heaven steps into your timeline to rearrange what you thought was settled. Sometimes God closes a door not because he wants to deny you something good, but because he sees what's waiting on the other side. He is not just preparing the blessing for you, he's preparing you for the blessing. Every divine interference is a safeguard. That job you didn't get, that relationship that dissolved, the plans that unraveled, all of them were instruments in the hands of a Father who refuses to give you less than what's divine. You may have mistaken his silence for absence, but he has never left. The unseen hand guiding you through uncertainty is the same one that parted seas and calmed storms. You are being led by wisdom greater than your own understanding. Every redirection, every delay, carries a signature of mercy. Even when you thought you had lost your way, heaven was still steering your steps back to the center of purpose. It takes discernment to recognize divine interference. It rarely feels like comfort, it often feels like loss. But if you could see the full scope of what he's building, you would thank him for every closed door. God interrupts not to inconvenience you, but to intercept disaster. He slows you down not to frustrate you, but to synchronize you with his perfect will. You're learning now that timing is not punishment, it's prophecy. Every pause has meaning. You are not being tested for endurance's sake. You are being positioned to receive what cannot be rushed. The promise has an appointed hour, and heaven will not release it one moment too soon or 1 second too late. The ancient record in the book of Exodus reminds us, chapter 13, verse 17, when Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by way of the land of the Philistines, though that was shorter. For God said, lest they change their minds and return to Egypt. And that is the wisdom behind your detours. Sometimes God avoids the easy road because the easy road would undo what he's trying to complete inside you. The longer path preserves the miracle. The unfamiliar route matures your faith. It teaches you to trust his navigation, not your comfort zone. Think of how many times you've been delayed, only to look back later and realize it was mercy. The car that wouldn't start, the call that didn't come, the opportunity that seemed to vanish, all of them woven together to keep you aligned with divine safety. Heaven's protection often wears the disguise of disappointment. There is a sacred rhythm to the interruptions of God. They force you to stop, depending on your own understanding. They strip away false control and invite surrender. They remind you that your story is not random, it's authored, and the author is still writing, right now, while you wait, while you feel the ache of not knowing what comes next. Something is happening behind the curtain of time. What looks still from your side is movement from his. The unseen is always busier than the visible. Angels are carrying messages, doors are being prepared, and people are being positioned to meet you at the intersection of obedience and divine timing. This is how the shift happens, subtle, almost invisible, yet undeniable. One morning you'll wake up and realize that what once resisted you now welcomes you. What once was heavy now flows easily. That is how heaven reveals its fingerprints, not in chaos, but in clarity. The next time something doesn't go your way, pause before you call it a setback. Ask instead, what is heaven redirecting me away from? You'll begin to see that divine interference is divine kindness. God doesn't need your understanding to bless you. He needs your trust. You are being guided step by step, not because you are lost, but because you are loved. Each detour is part of the design. Every pause is a prophecy in motion. You are not off course. You are exactly where you should be, moving at heaven's pace. You've felt it in the quiet hours, the stirring that wakes you without reason, the sense that heaven is trying to say something. Those moments are not interruptions, they are invitations. They happen when the veil between worlds grows thin, when heaven leans close enough to whisper what comes next. Sometimes it's in the middle of the night when everyone else is asleep. You open your eyes and feel a weight in your chest, not of fear, but of awareness. It's as if the air itself is listening. Those are the moments heaven calls your name softly, reminding you that you are seen, that you were never forgotten. When God begins to move in your life, He often starts with a sound, a call, a question that won't go away. You may not hear words, but you sense direction. It might be a sudden peace that replaces anxiety, or a thought that feels too gentle to be your own. Heaven often speaks through quiet conviction rather than thunder, but you are learning now how to listen. The stillness you once avoided has become sacred. You've discovered that when everything else is silent, that's when the voice of purpose is clearest. The things that used to distract you, fear, doubt, noise, are fading. In their place grows a steady awareness. I am being called into something greater. This is why your nights have felt longer. This is why your dreams have carried meaning. You are being stirred because you are part of a bigger design, one that will soon unfold in ways you could not have imagined. Every sleepless hour, every moment of restlessness has been heaven's way of preparing your spirit for revelation. The sound you hear in your soul is the same one that has echoed through generations, a reminder that even when the world seems dark, light is always rising somewhere. Heaven is still speaking, still moving, still calling. Scripture speaks through the voice of Isaiah. Chapter 55, verse 11. So is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. Every word spoken over you carries assignment. It cannot die. It cannot fade. It moves through time, through circumstance, through resistance, until it fulfills what heaven intended. That is why you're still standing, still believing, still hearing. The word over your life is alive, and it will not return void. Now, pause for a moment and think about how far you've come. All the times you thought you had nothing left, yet somehow strength found you again. That wasn't coincidence, that was grace. The same grace that's holding you right now. And as you receive these words, remember this: what is freely given can freely flow. The light you feel through messages like this isn't meant to stop with you. It's meant to keep traveling. When you like or share, it's like striking a match in the dark, one tiny spark that tells heaven, there is still light here. Every click becomes a ripple of warmth across unseen hearts. When you subscribe, you're not joining a list. You're planting a flag on sacred ground, saying, keep the flame coming. It's your way of keeping the stream of revelation open, letting truth flow like a river that never dries. And if your heart ever feels stirred to donate, let it be like releasing a dove into the sky, free, voluntary, graceful. You are not paying for a message. You are releasing hope into flight. Every seed given becomes a wing, carrying these words to souls you may never meet. It's not obligation, it's overflow. Each gesture, like share, Subscribe. Donate is part of a single rhythm, giving light back to the source that gave it to you. No demand, no debt, only gratitude expressed in motion. Heaven moves through willing hands, not pressured ones. So if your spirit whispers, yes, let that whisper turn into movement. Someone, somewhere, is waiting for a sign that hope is real. And you might be the one who carries it to them. The night may still be dark, but you are carrying a flame now. And with every act of faith, every spark you release, the darkness loses ground. You were never meant to keep the light hidden. You were meant to let it travel. Because sometimes the smallest spark, willingly shared, becomes the sunrise for another soul. And as that light travels, it remembers the hand that released it. You. Heaven multiplies what love releases. What leaves your hand never leaves your life. It circles back as peace, as strength, as divine confirmation that you've illuminated another's night. You've started to notice patterns, repeated moments, familiar numbers, sudden memories resurfacing like echoes from somewhere beyond time. Heaven speaks in more ways than one, and repetition is its language of urgency. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Every sign is a nudge from the unseen, a reminder that the divine is closer than your breath. Sometimes it's a number on a clock that catches your eye, or a phrase you keep hearing in unexpected places. Sometimes it's a dream that feels too vivid to dismiss, repeating night after night. Heaven uses what you understand to draw your attention to what you've forgotten. The spiritual world doesn't always shout. It often whispers through familiarity. That's why awareness matters. You are not crazy for noticing patterns. You are sensitive to the frequency of purpose. Once your spirit awakens, it cannot unhear the rhythm of heaven. You begin to sense timing differently. You can tell when something is about to unfold, even before it does. It's like the air before rain. That unmistakable stillness before the first drop falls. These divine signs are not meant to confuse you. They are meant to align you. God sends reminders so you won't drift too far from the path. When you start doubting, He repeats His messages until faith awakens again. What you call coincidence is often His mercy saying, I'm still here. Keep walking. You might not realize it, but the same energy that once surrounded the prophets still moves through you. Heaven has always chosen ordinary vessels to carry extraordinary messages. The whispers you hear, the impressions you feel, are not random. They are assignments waiting for your obedience. Each one is a conversation between you and eternity. According to the writings of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. That's the reason behind the signs. They guide you when logic cannot. They lead your heart where your mind is too limited to go. When you notice them, don't just acknowledge them with curiosity, acknowledge them with reverence. The God who aligned galaxies is also aligning your steps. You are being invited to trust even when you can't trace, to follow, even when you can't see the full map. Every pattern that reappears in your life is a conversation heaven refuses to end. It's the same divine persistence that turned shepherds into kings, fishermen into apostles, and wanderers into messengers. You are part of that lineage of listeners, those who notice what others ignore. And here's something sacred. The more you acknowledge these divine patterns, the stronger they become. Heaven amplifies what gratitude confirms. When you honor the signs, more appear. When you respond with awareness, the messages grow clearer. So when the next number appears, don't rush past it. Pause. Fail it. Ask heaven what it's saying. There's always meaning hidden in repetition. It's heaven's way of slowing you down to recognize how near the divine really is. Now, let your spirit respond. Heaven loves agreement. When you act in faith, even in something as simple as a small gesture, it marks you as one who hears. Type this number below: 888. It's more than a symbol. It represents new beginnings multiplied by grace. It's the rhythm of restoration, the echo of promises fulfilled. By writing it, you're not chasing numerology, you're affirming awareness. You're saying, I see you. Lord, I recognize the pattern. I'm ready for the new chapter. Because faith isn't always a shout. Sometimes it's a whisper, typed in courage. That simple act can shift your atmosphere. It tells heaven that you are paying attention. It tells your own soul, I am awake and aligned. Every small step of agreement releases something unseen. The number you write, the awareness you express, becomes a signal. Angels recognize it. Time adjusts around it. The next piece of your journey starts to move into place. You are part of heaven's pattern now, a living thread in a divine tapestry. Every heartbeat echoes that truth. You are seen, guided, and known. The numbers are not the message. You are heaven's sign to the world. Proof that light still listens, still answers, still calls. And when you see that number again, don't just glance, smile. It's heaven's way of winking at you, saying, I haven't forgotten. Keep believing. The unfolding continues. This awareness transforms your days into dialogue. Every sign becomes a sentence. Every pause, a conversation. You're no longer wandering. You're walking inside a living conversation with God Himself. The heaviness you've been carrying lately has not been random. It's not punishment, and it's not the result of failure. What you feel pressing on your chest, that invisible weight that makes even simple days seem difficult, is evidence of the mantle you carry. Heaven has entrusted you with something that is not meant to be light, because it is meant to be lasting. The stronger the calling, the greater the gravity. You are being shaped by what you carry. Every burden that makes you bow has been allowed to teach you how to stand taller later. God never wastes the weight. He uses it to anchor you so that when the winds of favor come, you won't be blown away by the applause of men or the noise of sudden success. The weight you feel today is the training that will keep you steady tomorrow. There is a reason why those who carry divine assignments often walk through seasons of isolation. Heaven hides its chosen until they are strong enough to be seen. You were not overlooked, you were preserved. The silence, the loneliness, the misunderstanding, they have all been a forge. The fire you endured was never meant to destroy you, but to solidify your spirit. It's strange, isn't it? How something unseen can feel so heavy. How peace and pressure can coexist. But that's what divine responsibility feels like. It doesn't always make you shout. Sometimes it makes you weep quietly, knowing that what you're birthing requires more than comfort. It requires consecration. You've been set apart, and that separation sometimes feels like loss. Yet, in that loss is the proof that you are trusted with something sacred. We are told in the scroll of Habakkuk, Chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. This scripture is not only about prophecy, it's about you. You are the revelation waiting for its appointed time. That's why you've felt hidden. The delay is not denial, it's development. Heaven doesn't release fragile vessels into heavy purpose. You've been tempered in silence so that when the unveiling comes, you can hold what others would drop. Sometimes the weight you feel is not even your own. It's the intercession your spirit carries for others. You've felt their pain, prayed their prayers, carried their burdens in the secret place without realizing it. That's why you're sensitive to things others overlook. Heaven trusts your empathy because it was born from experience. You know what it means to break poplar, and that's why you can help others heal. The mantle is not glamorous, it's sacred. It means sleepless nights, sudden tears, and quiet obedience. It means carrying revelation that others may not understand. But it also means walking in a depth of peace that the world can't take away. It's a paradox, heavy and holy at the same time. The heaviness is holy because it purifies motives. When you carry something divine, pride can't survive. The weight keeps you grounded. It reminds you that glory belongs only to God. It protects you from believing that your light is self-made. Every time you bend under the load, you remember the source of your strength. That humility becomes your armor. Even now, as you read these words, you're being strengthened. Heaven is reminding you that this is not the season to collapse, it's the season to calibrate. The pressure you feel is shaping endurance. You are learning to breathe under burden, to find stillness in strain. That's the mark of maturity, not avoiding the weight, but carrying it with grace. And when the moment comes, and it will, when the revelation finally meets its appointed time, you will see why the load had to be heavy. You'll look back and understand that every tear, every sleepless night, every battle in silence was a thread woven into your mantle. For now, rest in the knowing that the weight is not forever, it's for formation. Every day, you endure. Heaven carves your spirit a little deeper, making space for greater capacity. What seems unbearable today will one day become your strength, your testimony, your authority. So don't despise the heaviness, honor it. Don't rush to drop it, learn from it. For in the language of heaven, weight is not a curse, it is a crown in disguise. And when the crown finally rests upon you, it will fit perfectly shaped by every moment you carried the unseen. The heaviness will turn to glory. And you'll realize nothing was wasted. Every burden was prophecy, preparing you for elevation. Every season of resistance you have faced has carried a secret assignment. What looked like opposition was actually preparation in disguise. The tension, the obstacles, the people who misunderstood you, each one was a tool. Heaven used to refine what comfort could never touch. You were not being punished, you were being proven. Resistance reveals strength. You never truly know what's inside you until something pushes back. That's why your most painful moments were also your most sacred ones. They pulled out prayers you didn't know you could pray, courage you didn't know you had, and endurance that didn't exist until you were forced to stand. The furnace didn't destroy you, it revealed your fire. You see, growth rarely happens in ease. The soil of comfort produces softness, but the soil of struggle produces roots. The storms that tried to uproot you only made you grow deeper. You've learned how to stand firm even when everything around you shakes. That is the mark of someone chosen. They bend, but they do not break. You might not have realized it while you were suffering, but resistance was heaven's classroom. Every disappointment was a lesson in discernment. Every betrayal was a test of humility. Every delay taught you to trust divine timing instead of your own. You've been in training for something greater than survival. You've been learning mastery over self, over emotion, over fear. The Spirit of Truth spoke once in the letter to Romans, chapter 5, verse 3 and 4. We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, our hope. And that's the divine pattern. You can't skip the process because the process shapes the promise. Perseverance becomes the bridge between pain and purpose. Every moment you wanted to give up, but didn't, those were the moments heaven applauded in silence. The people who walked away were part of the refining too. They were never meant to stay, because their presence was tied to an old version of you. The new you that's emerging now could not coexist with what once limited your growth. So heaven allowed separation, not to punish you, but to make room for clarity. What left your life created space for what's coming. Resistance also exposes what you value most. When everything is stripped away, what remains reveals the foundation. You've learned to build your peace not on people, not on success, not on validation, but on the quiet confidence that God is still writing your story. You've discovered that peace is not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of divine order. There were times when the battle felt unfair, when you wondered why it seemed harder for you than for others. But chosen vessels often carry heavier warfare because their victory sets the pattern for others. You were not fighting just for yourself. You were clearing the path for those who would come after you. Your resilience became a prophetic roadmap. Others will survive because you refused to surrender. Even now, the resistance continues in subtle ways: a delay, a misunderstanding, an unexpected turn. But you've changed. You no longer panic at every obstacle. You've learned to ask different questions. Instead of, "Why is this happening?" you now ask, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift in perspective is proof of maturity. You no longer see resistance as rejection, you see it as redirection. Every time you rise again, something eternal grows stronger inside you. That's why heaven has allowed the pressure it's building permanence into your spirit. You are learning to stand in authority, not emotion. You are learning to rest even while you fight. And soon, the very resistance that tried to stop you will become the platform that elevates you. The trials you've endured are not wasted stories, they are living testimonies. When the time comes, your scars will speak for you. They'll tell the world that faith is not fragile, that grace is not weak, and that God still honors endurance. You are walking proof that divine strength is made perfect in human weakness. So, let the resistance come. Let it test you, shape you, teach you, because every force that pushes against you only confirms that you are moving in the right direction. And every time you push back with faith, with patience, with worship, you are not just surviving, you are transforming. The resistance is not your enemy, it is your witness. It testifies that something within you is too powerful to remain hidden. And when this season ends, you will realize that the struggle you once feared was actually heaven's way of announcing, you are ready. There comes a moment when silence can no longer hold what's inside you. The shift you've been sensing is not imagined. It's the sound of something sacred breaking through. Heaven is no longer whispering, it's speaking in waves. The atmosphere around you is charged. Like the sky before thunder, something is about to move. And this time, your voice is the trigger. Words carry weight in the unseen. They build. They destroy. They summon. They seal. Every sound you release becomes an echo in eternity, shaping the world around you. That's why the enemy tried to silence you, because your voice is not just expression, it's execution. When you speak with faith, heaven moves. When you declare truth, darkness loses its footing. You've been quiet for too long, holding back thoughts that burn inside your heart. The same voice that once cried in pain is about to roar in purpose. The silence that once protected your healing is now ready to serve your calling. The season of internal preparation is ending. Now begins the era of declaration. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 13. I believed, therefore I have spoken. Faith must find its sound. You cannot just think belief, you must release it. The miracle is not waiting in your thoughts, it's waiting in your words. Heaven honors sound. And when your words align with divine truth, creation has no choice but to obey. This is why the Spirit is urging you now. Speak, call things into order. Declare peace where there has been chaos. Speak life where there has been loss. Your voice is not just noise, it is an instrument. Heaven tunes to its frequency. Every syllable shaped in faith becomes a command. Angels recognize. You might think your words are small, but they are loaded with power. They travel farther than you imagine. Even a whisper, born from conviction, can shake the atmosphere. The sound of a chosen one carries authority because it's backed by obedience. It's time to stop rehearsing defeat in your mind. Stop saying maybe, where heaven has already said yes. The same God who spoke galaxies into being is asking you to echo his language, to create with courage, to speak with certainty, to prophesy over your own future. You've spent years absorbing noise that never fed your faith. Now, heaven is recalibrating your sound. It's teaching you to speak from spirit, not from fear. You are being invited into partnership with divine utterance. When you open your mouth, something eternal flows out. But before you speak outwardly, you must speak inwardly. Tell your soul, it's time to rise. Tell your fear, you have no power here. Tell your doubt, you are dismissed. The same voice that comforts others must first command alignment within. Then, when you speak beyond yourself, your words will carry purity, unmixed with fear or confusion. Every battle you've faced has been training your tongue. Every tear you've cried has anointed your speech. Heaven doesn't waste pain, it turns it into prophecy. You are now at the point where your words will shift not just your life, but the lives connected to your obedience. When you finally release what's been building inside, expect the atmosphere to respond. Things will move, people will shift, doors will open, because words, especially yours, carry destiny. Now, let this be your moment of agreement. Type these words below. I speak light. Je. Not because someone told you to, but because heaven needs to hear you echo truth. When you write those 3 words, you are declaring that you refuse to let darkness narrate your story any longer. You are aligning your language with the Creator's. Light doesn't ask permission to shine. It simply does. So, when you say it, you awaken that same authority within you. You remind your soul that power is not in silence, but in sound. Heaven will meet you in that echo. Remember, what you speak becomes what you see. So keep your words holy. Keep them honest. Keep them alive. Because your voice, your unique sound, is the weapon that turns resistance into revelation and pain into praise. When you speak light, you shift the balance of the unseen. Every syllable becomes a spark that burns through confusion and fear, rewriting your atmosphere with divine clarity. Your words are not floating sounds, they are assignments. Each one travels like a messenger, carrying purpose where silence once lived. That is why heaven waits for your agreement before moving in power. So speak boldly, even when your voice shakes, because every time you release truth, the darkness retreats a little more. What leaves your lips in faith returns as peace. Proof that light always answers. Time is drawing near now. The air feels different. The days seem shorter, and the horizon carries a quiet tension, like creation itself is holding its breath. You can sense it deep in your bones. Something sacred is aligning. The day marked in heaven's calendar approaches. It's no longer a distant promise. It's an unfolding reality. Everything you've endured has been leading here. The long nights, the unanswered prayers, the silent seasons, they were all pages of the same story. Now, those pages are turning. You can almost hear the rustle of destiny moving closer. Like wind through ancient trees. The weight that once felt like burden now feels like balance. What once made you stumble now steadies your steps. Heaven has not forgotten its appointment with you. Every delay, every detour, has been part of a precise orchestration. The same God who guided the wise men by a single star is guiding you by signs only your heart can see. You are walking toward the intersection where time meets purpose, and the light of Wednesday is beginning to rise. It was written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. That's what this moment means. You were never meant to stay hidden. The season of obscurity was not a burial. It was incubation. The world doesn't yet know it. But the light inside you is about to be revealed. Heaven is about to take the cover off your calling. Think of your life like a lantern. It's been burning quietly inside a room. Unseen, but steady. The glass may be cracked. The flame may have flickered, but it never went out. And now, a divine hand is lifting that lantern, raising it high, so that others can find their way through your glow. That's what Wednesday represents, the lifting. You have been prepared not just to survive, but to shine. Everything around you has been arranged to amplify what's within you. The same voice that spoke, "Let there be light," is speaking through your story, saying, "Now, let them see what I've been doing in secret." And as this light expands, it asks something gentle from you, not out of demand, but out of harmony. When you feel your spirit stirred by this message, let it move through you. When you like or share, it's like opening a window in a dark room, letting fresh air and sunlight flow where shadows once lingered. Your small act becomes a bridge between what is spoken and what is still waiting to be heard. When you subscribe, imagine it as keeping a candle burning in a window at night, a signal to heaven and to others that you're still awake, still listening, still expecting. It says, I want to stay close to the flame. And if your heart ever feels led to donate, let it be like watering a tree whose roots you may never see, but whose shade will bless countless others. You're not giving to a voice, you're giving to the flow of light that voice carries. Each offering becomes a ripple of kindness that travels farther than you'll ever know. You're not obligated, only invited. There's a difference. Obligation demands, love inspires. And the beauty of this moment is that your response, in whatever form it takes, becomes worship. It's the way gratitude breathes. Think of the impact. A single seed dropped in the ground doesn't stay alone. It multiplies quietly, turning into fruit that feeds strangers you may never meet. That's what happens. Every time you help light continue to travel, it multiplies into grace for someone else's darkness. No one can tell you what to do with what you've received. The beauty of divine truth is that it stirs what's already inside you. If this word touches your spirit, let your response be as natural as breath, whether it's a gesture, a whisper, or a seed. Heaven sees it all as worship. The coming Wednesday isn't about fear, it's about revelation. It's about standing where light meets promise and saying, I'm ready. Heaven is not rushing you, it's inviting you. You are not pressured, you are chosen. And when that day dawns, when the first light of fulfillment breaks through the clouds of waiting, you will know why it all had to happen this way. You will see that every tear watered a field of miracles. Like if your heart recognizes the rhythm of this moment, share so another lantern might catch flame. Subscribe to stay near the sound of unfolding light. And if giving stirs within you, let it flow like sunlight through open hands, feeding what heaven is growing here. Because this is how light spreads, not by demand, but by desire, not by pressure, but by love. And when you move from love, you become part of the miracle itself. There is a quiet justice woven into the fabric of heaven. For years, you have walked through hidden seasons, misunderstood and underestimated. People saw fragments of you, but never the fullness. They misread your silence as weakness, your gentleness as lack of fire. Yet, through it all, heaven took notes. Every unnoticed act, every tear shed in private, every prayer whispered when no one else cared, none of it vanished into the air. It was all recorded, stored, and now the pages are being turned. You are entering the season of divine, unveiling the moment when what was hidden in humility begins to rise in clarity. This is not about fame or visibility for its own sake. It is about divine purpose revealing its maturity. Heaven hides greatness not to diminish it, but to strengthen it away from noise. And now, as the hour approaches, the hidden ones are being called forth. You are one of them. You've been walking quietly in obedience, while others rushed ahead in recognition. You've been sowing in silence, unseen, uncelebrated, and yet, all along, heaven was nurturing your roots underground. What looked like stillness was growth. What felt like delay was depth. The prophet Ezekiel once recorded, in chapter 17, verse 24, all the trees of the forest will know that I, the Lord, bring down the tall tree and make the low tree grow tall. I dry up the green tree and make the dry tree flourish. That is the reversal now taking place. The first shall be last, and the last shall rise in appointed glory. Heaven delights in lifting what men overlook. You've been walking through divine inversion, where status means nothing and sincerity means everything. God resists the proud, but crowns the humble. And now, the time of crowning draws near. When God begins to reveal the hidden, He doesn't do it through human announcement. He lets circumstances shift until visibility becomes unavoidable. You won't need to chase attention, it will find you. The same people who doubted you will witness the unfolding and wonder how it happened. But you'll know it wasn't sudden. It was scheduled. The years of silence were not a waste. They were your consecration. Heaven was shaping your tone, refining your motives, and teaching you the weight of words. You had to learn compassion before authority, humility before recognition. And now that your heart has learned both, heaven can trust you with influence. What's remarkable about this kind of unveiling is that it never feels like a performance. It feels like breathing. You won't need to fight for a platform. Your presence will simply carry the fragrance of what you've endured. Your scars will testify louder than your speech. People will sense peace in you before they even hear your story. And that peace will be your validation. Heaven is not just revealing individuals, it's revealing a generation of the quiet, faithful. The world has been waiting for authenticity, not spectacle. True light doesn't advertise itself, it simply shines. And darkness cannot argue with it. That's the kind of emergence heaven is releasing now, subtle yet undeniable, pure yet powerful. You are stepping into this unveiling, not as a conqueror seeking victory, but as a vessel carrying restoration. What once felt like your weakness will become your witness. The things you thought disqualified, you will become the very reasons heaven can use you. Every loss has made you more merciful. Every delay, more discerning. Every disappointment, more dangerous to darkness. It will not happen through striving, but through surrender. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to be present. The same God who anointed David in the field will draw you out of obscurity in His time. Your authenticity will do what effort never could. So, keep your heart steady. Stay kind even when noticed. Stay grounded even when praised. Recognition is not your reward. Alignment is. The unveiling is not about applause, but about assignment. Heaven is revealing you because the world needs what you carry. And when the light finally falls on you, you'll realize it was never about being seen. It was about being ready. Hiddenness taught you humility. Unveiling will teach you stewardship. And through both, you will understand what heaven meant all along. Being chosen was never about position. It was about purpose. You will not need to announce yourself. Heaven will do it for you. The right doors will open quietly, perfectly timed, and your name will rise where only truth can reach. And when it happens, stay gentle. Let gratitude speak louder than pride, for every spotlight is temporary. But the glow of obedience, that light never fades from eternity's memory. Time has begun to compress. You feel it in your spirit before you see it in your surroundings. The rhythm of heaven is accelerating, and every moment seems to carry a strange weight, as though eternity is leaning closer. Signs appear with more frequency, dreams sharper, words heavier, intuition clearer. What you are sensing is not imagination, it is the divine countdown. For a long time, heaven has been aligning what seemed scattered, threads of memory, places of pain, and whispers of promise are all beginning to converge. You are standing at the edge of fulfillment, and the air is electric with divine purpose. The waiting that once stretched endlessly now feels like it's folding in on itself. You can almost hear the ticking in your spirit, a rhythm not of fear, but of readiness. Heaven still echoes the words found in Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Abir. That is your assurance as the countdown continues. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into orchestration. God goes before you, setting the stage, arranging the sequence, ensuring that what comes next will not crush, but crown you. When heaven counts down, it is not measuring time as humans do. It measures readiness. The numbers are not warnings, they are invitations. Each moment closer to the appointed day is another reminder that heaven is not improvising, it is fulfilling. In the unseen realm, movement has already begun. Angels are shifting into position, aligning paths, softening hearts, preparing divine intersections. What may feel like chaos around you is often choreography above you. You are being guided through a pattern too intricate to comprehend, but too perfect to fail. The acceleration can feel strange at first. Some relationships will fade quickly. Opportunities will close unexpectedly. Old habits will fall off with sudden finality. It's because everything that cannot enter the new season must be released. Heaven does not waste time holding on to what no longer fits your calling. You may feel a mix of peace and restlessness. Peace because your spirit recognizes destiny approaching. Restlessness because your flesh wants to rush what heaven is still perfecting. Breathe. The countdown is not pressure, it's preparation. You are learning to move in divine rhythm, not human impatience. There is something sacred about divine timing. It humbles you. It reminds you that obedience, not control, is the true key to acceleration. Heaven never asks you to make the clock move faster. It asks you to be ready when the clock strikes. The signs will grow stronger the closer you get. You'll sense confirmation through words, numbers, and unexpected peace in places where you once felt anxious. Don't chase them, receive them. They are not proof that God will move, they are proof that He already is. You are approaching a threshold moment. It will not arrive with fireworks or fanfare, but with stillness that feels heavy, like the pause before sunrise. In that silence, something eternal will click into place. The things that didn't make sense for years will suddenly connect, and you'll realize that heaven had been counting down, not to an event, but to awakening. Now pause. This is your moment of agreement. The countdown is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Each day brings you closer to divine unveiling, to the confirmation of everything heaven ever whispered in the dark. Type this number below, 4444. It is the mark of divine alignment and angelic order. When you write it, you are saying, I am in rhythm with heaven's clock. I choose trust over control. This isn't superstition, it's synchronization. It's a visible yes to what your spirit already knows. Heaven is near, and the hour is almost here. As you align with this awareness, peace will settle like dew. You'll no longer chase timing, you'll flow with it. You'll stop fearing delay, because you'll see that even waiting has been part of the countdown. When heaven finishes its countdown, it won't sound like a blast. It will sound like clarity. You'll wake up and realize that everything you prayed for has quietly taken its place. The unfolding won't feel like arrival, It will feel like remembering something your spirit always knew was coming. And when that moment arrives, peace will not announce itself loudly. It will simply be. You'll breathe differently, speak differently, move differently, as though heaven's rhythm has finally entered your bloodstream. That's when you'll know. The countdown was never toward an ending, but toward awakening. The wait wasn't wasted. It was the making of divine readiness. You can feel it now, the tension between two worlds pulling at your spirit. One hand reaches back toward what was familiar, safe, and predictable. The other extends forward, toward something vast and unknown. You stand in the middle, stretched between comfort and calling. This is the place where the chosen are refined, the narrow ground between surrender and resistance. It is not an easy place to stand. The past still calls your name, sometimes, offering the illusion of safety. It whispers, "You were fine before, why risk the unknown?" But deep inside, you know that staying would be the slow death of your destiny. You have outgrown the spaces that once defined you. The ache you feel is not failure, it's transition. The Apostle John bore witness, saying, in chapter 12, verse 24, "Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it produces much fruit." You are living that verse now. The version of you that once fit into old patterns must fall into the soil of surrender, so something greater can rise. Dying to the past does not mean forgetting it. It means allowing it to complete its purpose. The soil of loss becomes the cradle of new life. It's difficult. This in-between. You're too changed to return, yet not fully formed for what's next. It feels like walking across a bridge made of faith, one plank at a time, not knowing if the next step will appear until you take it. But that is what trust truly means, moving before you have proof. Heaven is calling you forward, not by force, but by resonance. Every divine instruction vibrates within your chest, pulling you toward alignment. The Spirit does not push, it draws. The closer you move toward purpose, the louder the call becomes. But the cost of moving forward is always the same. You must let go of what no longer fits the journey. Letting go is not a single act, it's a rhythm. You release, you breathe, you step. Sometimes it feels like loss, sometimes it feels like liberation. You weep one day and rejoice the next. That's the rhythm of transformation, grief and glory in the same heartbeat. You're learning now that obedience often feels like contradiction. God asks you to move when logic says, stay. To speak when fear says, be quiet. To trust when everything visible says, turn back. Yet each act of faith builds a bridge invisible to the world but solid beneath your feet. The old world around you may crumble as you cross over. Friendships may shift. Opportunities may close. Familiar voices may fade. That's not rejection, it's refinement. Heaven removes what can't survive in the next atmosphere. The new you requires new air. What stands ahead of you is not just a new chapter, it's a new book. The story you're stepping into doesn't follow the old plot lines. You're not repeating cycles, you're breaking them. The spiritual weight of your obedience will rewrite generations. That's why the tension feels so heavy. It's not just your story being rewritten, it's your lineage. Sometimes the unknown feels like darkness, but it's only the shadow cast by unfulfilled purpose. You're not lost, you're being led. The future isn't trying to intimidate you, It's trying to introduce itself. Fear has been disguising itself as caution. But deep down, you know it's time to cross the threshold. Remember, the bridge may sway, but it will not collapse. Heaven doesn't build fragile paths. What you're walking on was designed before you ever took your first step. You're not building the way as you go. You're revealing what was already there. Every act of obedience creates light for the next step. You don't need to see the full destination. You only need to walk in the measure of light given today. Trust that tomorrow's light will meet you when it's time. So stand here for a moment. Feel the pull of both worlds, the memory of what was and the magnet of what's coming. Let the tension remind you that you are alive in the middle of transformation. The stretch between two worlds is proof that you are growing. Soon, the bridge will end, and you will place your foot on solid new ground. You'll turn around and see that the world you left behind has already begun to fade, replaced by a peace that feels strangely familiar, as if it had been waiting for you all along. That's the truth about crossing over. You don't step into something foreign. You step into the version of yourself heaven wrote before the world tried to rewrite you. There is a holy urgency moving through the air, a call that doesn't shout but vibrates deeply within. You've reached the edge of what delay can teach you. The time of hesitation is closing, and the window of obedience is opening wide. This is the place where heaven whispers, now, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, not when it makes sense now, because when heaven speaks, movement must replace doubt. The Spirit is not rushing you out of impatience, but guiding you out of danger. Delay, when prolonged, turns from waiting into wandering. There is a moment when grace is meant to be acted upon, not analyzed. You've prayed. You've discerned. You've tested the wind, and now the command is simple: move. Not because you fully understand, but because trust requires motion. The holy text of 1 Peter reveals, chapter 1, verse 13, therefore, prepare your minds for action, be self-controlled, set your hope fully on the grace to be given you when Jesus Christ is revealed. Preparation without motion is paralysis. You've gathered revelation, and now heaven expects response. Every revelation comes with responsibility. To know is sacred, but to act is divine. There are moments when delay is disobedience dressed as caution, and the Spirit will not let you remain comfortable there. You've been faithful in discernment, but discernment without decision eventually becomes fear in disguise. Heaven's voice is not confusing, it is consistent. You've already heard what to do. The question is whether you will obey when the ground still looks unstable. Faith is not about walking where it's safe, it's about walking where it's spoken. You've been standing at the threshold long enough. The next step is not waiting for permission, it's waiting for participation. Every hesitation becomes a crack where doubt enters. And doubt, when nurtured, hardens into disbelief. That's why the Spirit moves firmly now, urging you not to linger where peace has already lifted. When God says move, it's because what sustained you in the last season will not feed you in the next. Manna expires when the cloud shifts. The grace that once felt abundant begins to dry up not as punishment, but as direction. Heaven removes old provision to awaken new obedience. There is mercy even in urgency. The same love that comforts you in waiting now commands you toward action. God's tone hasn't changed. Your assignment has matured. Obedience is not meant to burden you, but to release you. Every act of trust becomes a key. unlocking doors that intellect could never open. You might feel fear rising as you step forward. That's natural. Fear often travels with faith. It just can't lead the journey. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the refusal to bow to it. Heaven measures courage not by how loudly you move, but by how faithfully you take the next invisible step. What you're leaving behind is not rejection of the past, it's reverence for the future. You honor yesterday by obeying today. Every step forward becomes gratitude in motion. A silent thank you to the God who trusted you with transition. When obedience feels heavy, remember that disobedience is heavier. The longer you stay where you no longer belong, the more you lose peace. Peace is the compass. It always points in the direction of your next yes. If peace has departed from one path, it has already gone ahead to the other. You are not being forced. You are being freed. The command to move is the evidence that heaven still believes in your capacity to carry purpose. You haven't missed the moment you're being invited into it. Every breath you take right now is grace saying, you still have time to obey. No, soon. You'll look back and see why urgency was mercy. The door that seemed narrow will lead to space wide enough for your destiny to unfold. The step that once terrified you will become the foundation of your testimony. The risk will turn to revelation. And you'll whisper, I almost stayed, but grace pulled me forward. So take the step. Let obedience interrupt delay. Let movement silence fear. Because heaven's command is never cruel, it is always kind. And it never comes too soon. When you step forward, heaven rushes to meet you. The unseen rearranges itself in your favor, proving that obedience was never about loss, it was always about divine partnership. Each act of courage rewrites the atmosphere around you. Angels mark the moment, recording that you chose faith over fear, trust over timing, serenor hesitation. And when peace settles again, you'll understand it was never a command to leave something behind. It was an invitation to step into who you truly are. The storm hasn't come to destroy you, it came to crown you. You are learning that peace is not found in the absence of chaos, but in standing unmoved within it. The winds that tried to break you have revealed your roots. The very pressure that once frightened you is now shaping your authority. You've walked through thunder and silence, and yet, here you stand, unbroken, illuminated, steady. Every chosen one faces this test, to remain calm while the world trembles. The storm is not always an enemy. Sometimes it is the ceremony of coronation. Heaven uses chaos to announce promotion. The shaking exposes what's shallow and strengthens what's true. You have become unshakable, not because life grew easy, but because you finally discovered where your foundation stands. As spoken by the psalmist David in Psalms, chapter 65, verse 11, you crown the year with your goodness, and your paths overflow with abundance. This is what heaven is doing now, crowning you in the midst of rain. What looks like uncertainty is actually overflow in motion. Every drop that falls on your life right now carries purpose. The tears, the trials, even the temporary losses are watering something divine beneath the surface. Soon, what once hurt you will harvest joy. You've walked through enough nights to know that light doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes, it arrives as quiet resilience, a certainty that refuses to fade. That resilience is your crown. It's invisible to the world, but heaven sees it glowing. You don't need validation, you carry revelation. You are not seeking approval, you are radiating alignment. And as you grow into this peace, heaven invites you to keep the current of grace flowing. What reaches you is meant to move through you. When you like this message, it's like lighting a candle in the middle of a storm, not for visibility, but for warmth. It's your way of saying, let this flame travel farther. Anis, when you share, imagine it as opening a window in a darkened room, letting the wind of peace move freely into another soul's atmosphere. You are not spreading content, you're spreading calm. The very words that steadied you might become the lifeline someone else needs tonight. When you subscribe, picture yourself joining a circle of lanterns on a long road. Each light adds to the others until the path becomes visible for those still walking in the dark. Subscription becomes communion, a shared signal that none of us stand alone. And if your heart ever stirs to donate, let it be like placing a small stone into a flowing river. You're not losing it, you're watching it ripple outward, carrying messages of hope far beyond your reach. No one is asked, only invited. It's the beauty of divine generosity. It never feels forced, only freeing. Every seed given becomes rain for another desert heart. You are part of something much bigger than words on a screen. You are a living echo of grace. Every act of engagement, a like, a share, a comment. A gift is not a transaction, but a translation. It turns what you feel into motion, allowing hope to keep traveling from heart to heart. This is how heaven builds altars in the modern world, not out of stone, but out of compassion, not with hammers, but with hands that pass light forward. You are one of those hands. So take a breath. Let gratitude steady your pulse. Look back at all you've survived and realize the storm crowned you without you even knowing it. You are not waiting to be blessed. You already are. You wear strength like armor and kindness like gold. If this message finds a home in you, comment something simple like a seed. Just write, grace remains, because grace truly does. It stays when everything else leaves. It's the whisper after the thunder, the calm after the rain. Your journey has never been about perfection. It has always been about presence. To keep showing up, to keep giving light, to keep believing that love still wins. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you chosen. So let the storm do its work, and then let the light pour through the cracks. Because when you rise after the rain, you don't just carry survival, you carry revelation. And the world needs that glow now more than ever. When the winds finally still, you'll realize the storm was never your enemy. It was your anointing. It taught you strength, patience, and how to stand crowned yet humble. And as calm returns, gratitude will rise quietly within you. You'll understand that surviving wasn't the miracle transforming through the storm was. That's true victory. The day finally arrives, the one heaven whispered about through sleepless nights and silent prayers. You wake, and though everything looks the same, something within you knows nothing truly is. The air feels charged, the light different, softer yet sharper, as if the world has taken a deeper breath. This is the unfolding, the moment when invisible promises step into visible reality. You don't hear trumpets or see sudden miracles. Instead, it happens quietly. The way dawn replaces darkness. You realize that what's changing isn't the world, it's your perception of it. What once felt heavy now feels sacred. The same path you've been walking all along suddenly glows beneath your feet. Heaven hasn't introduced something new. It has revealed what was always there, waiting for you to see it. This is how divine timing works. It doesn't explode. It emerges. It turns ordinary hours into holy encounters. The coffee cup, the morning light, the sound of someone's laughter, all of it becomes language. Proof that God has been here the whole time. The revelation given to John declares in chapter 21, verse 5, "Behold, I make all things new." Those words aren't about replacement, they're about renewal. God doesn't discard what's broken, He restores it until it reflects His intention again. That's what's happening to you now. You are not being remade from scratch, you are being reawakened into purpose. Every scar becomes part of the new design. Every wound transforms into wisdom. You are not who you were before the waiting. And that's the point you were never meant to be. There's a gentle rhythm in the unfolding. It doesn't rush or shout. It moves like breath. Inhale, exhale, receive, release. You start to notice divine fingerprints on everything you once called coincidence. The conversations, the detours, the heartbreaks. They form a map, so intricate that only heaven could have drawn it. And as you trace its lines backward, gratitude rises like light through clouds. You begin to understand that revelation doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes it arrives in stillness so profound that it feels like worship. You don't need to prove anything or rush into action. The unfolding isn't a performance, it's a recognition. You simply stand there, present, and let the truth settle. It's happening. It was always happening. It's easy to miss this moment if you keep waiting for spectacle. Heaven rarely shouts, it reveals. The signs don't demand attention, they reward awareness. The unfolding doesn't announce your victory, it confirms it. What's changing isn't what you have, it's how you see what you have. The path ahead feels lighter now, though it's the same one. The people who once misunderstood you might still not understand, but their opinions no longer weigh the same. The peace you carry has made you untouchable. It's not pride, it's clarity. You've stopped fighting battles that no longer exist. You've stopped arguing with voices that no longer matter. Every season of struggle led here to this clarity, this stillness. The tension between promise and fulfillment has dissolved into peace. You no longer need to chase proof. You are the proof. The life you live now becomes the testimony you once prayed for. Every breath, every step, every word, evidence that God keeps His word. The unfolding isn't just about your story, it's about every person your story will touch. Heaven never fulfills in isolation. What's happening in you becomes light for others. You will notice it soon, people drawn to your calm, strangers confiding their storms, hearts finding direction simply because your presence reminds them that hope still works. That's what revelation does. It multiplies. So walk slowly today. Don't rush through the holy ordinary. Let the day breathe around you. The unfolding doesn't need you to manage it. It needs you to marvel at it. Gratitude is the correct response to grace. Whisper thank yous under your breath for the things you once called burdens. Each one was a stepping stone disguised as struggle. And as the sun begins to set on this sacred day, peace will settle deeper. You'll feel it in your chest, the unmistakable awareness that heaven has kept its promise. The battle wasn't for victory, it was for understanding. You've won both. This is what the unfolding feels like, not loud, not rushed. But sure. The divine doesn't need applause. It only needs acknowledgement. And in this still, luminous moment, acknowledgement is exactly what you give. And as night falls, the same stars you once prayed under now seem to shine differently, closer, kinder, familiar. You realize heaven never changed position, only your vision finally aligned. In that alignment, everything quiets. Purpose feels natural, not heavy. You're not chasing miracles anymore, you're quietly living inside one. Morning returns. But it doesn't feel like yesterday's kind of morning. The light that pours through your window feels alive, as if it carries memory, as if it knows what has changed inside you. You stand there for a moment, still, breathing differently, aware that something deep has completed its cycle. The silence isn't empty anymore, it hums with peace. You have crossed over. And though the world around you looks unchanged, everything within you has been rearranged. You no longer feel the need to strive or explain. The questions that once demanded answers now rest quietly in your spirit. You understand that not every mystery must be solved. Some are simply meant to be lived. The urgency to fix, to prove, to perform it has dissolved. What's left is presence, pure and steady. You have become the calm you once prayed to find. The voice of the Lord resounded in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 6. It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Oh, those words echo through your heart now, not as distant scripture but as personal confirmation. It is done, not because the journey ends, but because a phase of becoming has reached its fullness. You have learned what surrender means. You've discovered the rhythm of trust. You've lived long enough to see that the promises of God are not fragile, they are inevitable. There's a tenderness in this realization. You no longer fear endings because you finally understand they are just disguised beginnings. Every closure carries the seed of continuation. Heaven never stops unfolding. It simply changes form. What you once called loss was really transition. And what you once called waiting was actually transformation. You feel gratitude rise. Quiet but immense. You whisper, thank you for the storms, for the silences, for the seasons that felt like exile but were actually anointing. You thank the tears that softened your heart and the loneliness that made space for divine companionship. You realize now that nothing was wasted. Not a moment, not a breath. Everything served, the sacred sequence that brought you here. It's strange how peace feels when it finally arrives. It doesn't come with applause or grand revelation. It settles like dew, unnoticed by noise, but undeniable to the soul. You can sense heaven smiling over your stillness. You are finally walking in rhythm with what always was. You are no longer chasing destiny, you are wearing it. The world outside hasn't changed much. Cars still move. People still hurry, but you notice more. The sound of leaves rustling in the wind feels like worship. The way sunlight hits the walls looks like a sermon on grace. Even the pauses between sounds feel like a heartbeat, reminding you that life itself is holy. And you, once restless and uncertain, are now an extension of that holiness. You have become what heaven envisioned when it whispered your name into time, a carrier of calm, a vessel of light. You don't have to announce it. The peace you walk in announces it for you. Your story isn't over. It's entering a new flow. You will still face challenges, but they will meet a different version of you, the version that understands storms are teachers, not threats. You will still feel, still argue, still hope, but you'll move through each emotion with grace, knowing that nothing can separate you from what you've become. The light around you will attract others who are still wandering, and you won't need to preach to reach them. They'll feel something steady in your presence, a quiet strength, a sacred certainty, and they'll begin to remember who they are too. That's how heaven works. Revelation multiplied through reflection. You are the reflection now. You are the evidence that faith finishes what it starts. Heaven didn't choose you to be perfect. It chose you to be present. Your very existence, healed and whole, is proof that divine purpose doesn't fail. As you close your eyes tonight, there is no longer tension, only peace. No striving, only surrender. The same voice that called you through storms now whispers one final truth. You made it. Not because you outran pain, but because you walked faithfully through it. And in that soft, eternal stillness, you understand the promise was never about arrival. It was always about awakening. You have awakened, and heaven smiles. You'll drift to sleep, knowing the journey continues. Not as striving, but as flow. Destiny no longer feels distant. It breathes beside you, gentle and endlessly faithful. Tomorrow will rise quietly, carrying familiar light, made new. And as you walk forward, you'll realize you no longer follow purpose. You are purpose embodied. And so, the story comes to rest, not with finality, but with fulfillment. You've walked through darkness, silence, revelation, and dawn. Every word, every moment, every breath in this journey has been a mirror of your becoming. The truth is simple now. You are no longer searching for light. You've become its reflection. Yet even as the narrative pauses here, the current of grace continues to flow. These words, like water, were never meant to stay still. They move from one heart to another, carried by every act of kindness, every whisper of hope. That is how light travels quietly, through willing hands. When you like this message, imagine it as lighting a small lamp at the edge of the world, a sign that the flame still burns, that faith still breathes. When you share, think of it as sending a lantern across a river at night, letting its glow drift towards someone lost in the fog. You never know who might find warmth in its light. When you subscribe, see it as building a bridge of candles between you and heaven's whispers, a vow to stay near the glow, to keep learning, to keep growing. And if your spirit ever stirs to donate, let it be like planting a seed in fertile ground. You're not paying for words, you're helping them reach places your feet may never go. The harvest won't return as currency, it will return as peace, stories, and unseen smiles. Finally, leave a comment, just a few words from the heart. Think of it as a footprint in sacred sand, proof that you walked through this moment and heard something meant only for you. Every small act is a thread in this divine tapestry. Together, they keep the light moving. So as the screen fades, let the flame remain. Carry it forward, not because you must, but because it's beautiful to share what once saved you.